led us to current conflict. So.
Yeah, I want to underline something. In 1961, when the first elected Prime Minister of the Congo was assassinated, it was with the backing of the CIA and the Belgian government. Yes.
Take a breath, Maddie. Take a breath. I got you covered.
Yes, I'm going to talk about the numbers, which I think kind of speak for themselves. Basically, this is a mineral war. Congo is a hugely resourceful nation that, Colton is the one that you care about most, but Congo also has a lot of other resources that are desired. It's a beautiful nation, but it's being destroyed basically by the conflict. So one thing that you can talk about for days and days is different people's involvement in the war, the Rwandan involvement, Ugandan involvement, and the United States involvement. So one of the things that I found was really interesting was that during the 18-month period between like 1999 and 2000, Colton, because of the demand for cell phones and Apple products and all these different things, Colton shot up in value because we all want it, right? We all want our new iPhones and things like that. So Colton went up to about $200 a kilo, and this increased the demand and it fueled the conflict. So within an 18-month period, the amount of money that was spent on exportation was enough to fuel the war. I think it was, I'm trying to remember, it was like $250 million. Yeah, $250 million. And that represents exportation, purchase, and transportation. The impact that this has is immense. It has destroyed millions and millions of people's lives. This is the biggest conflict since World War II, the Holocaust. 5.4 million people have been reported dead, and that was in 2003, 2006? 2005. So that was 5 years ago. And it's estimated that 4.4 million people are displaced right now within the Congo, and 45,000 people die every month due to starvation and disease. So one thing like we talk about in this class is that whenever you have a conflict, it causes other things to happen. One thing that's happening is that less than half the population has access to free drinking, or has access to safe drinking water. That's a huge problem, obviously. To pause for a second, because this issue is just so huge, and I don't think it's getting very much coverage right now. All we hear about it is that, a few months ago they did that report about the 3-day window where 200 people were raped in a certain section of Congo, in South Congo, in Kiva. And basically rape is being used as a weapon of war. 10% of the pregnancies, or 10% of the rapes result in pregnancy. So not only do you have a woman who is being abused and usually has lack of medical resources, if she becomes impregnated, then the child is a victim of the conflict. And I mean, it carries a huge stigma over there. So a lot of the reports that I was reading about women that have been raped, their husbands won't take them back in because they're considered a rebel wife, when a lot of times even the husbands will be forced to rape their daughters and their wives in front of, or their daughters and their mothers and their wives in front of the army. And it's not just the Congolese army or the UN army, it's pretty much everybody. Nobody is safe. So they've started calling it like taking them into the forest, and so a woman will go out to work in the fields and the soldiers will come up to them and take them into the forest, and that's a euphemism for what's going to happen to them. I'm trying to see if I missed anything. I mean, it is important to note that there are 20,000 UN troops in Congo right now. That sounds like a good amount of people. That sounds like something's being done, but nothing's really being done. So, luckily, hopefully, with awareness that we're raising, hope is on the way. This is a nice picture. And on this Sunday, it was really exciting because the First Lady of Congo, she marched alongside thousands of Congolese women in an effort to raise awareness, and there were some really beautiful images from it. That was a part of the World March of Women, which goes along with the UN Resolution 1325, which we talked about, is to promote security for women. So they basically were calling for the international community, sorry about that getting cut off, they're calling for the international community to work for the protection of women and the economic empowerment of women across the world. But, I mean, there's a lot of things that are being done. So Dominic is going to talk
much, Whitney. Thank you very much for your knowledge. It's very impressive. I'm smiling, which is kind of paradoxal, but it's just that I'm a little high on joy right now. Yes, it's Congo Week. During Congo Week. For the past 3 years, I've been involved in raising awareness, breaking the silence, going everywhere, talking about the situation of the Congolese, of women in the Congo, the war there, what's fueling it, and the major actors involved in the conflict. It was a bit overwhelming. Sometimes it is very overwhelming, you know, when you see the pictures, and we even spare you guys for the most graphic ones. But it's very overwhelming, and 6 million people dead, and so many thousands of women being raped, and so many others being abducted, used as child soldiers, and all that stuff. It gets really overwhelming. I have been overwhelmed myself, but then as I was reading the story, researching the stories about the war in the Congo, I came across the story of Dr. Mukwege, a surgeon who was working to bring back this woman to life, pretty much doing repairing fistulas to women victims of rape. And he said something that really stuck my mind. And it's the fact that all the women that are getting raped never commit suicide. And to me, it was amazing to see their resilience to come back to life, to help their communities, despite of the destruction, because of the damage they have endured. And I was like, if these women, I'm sorry, have still hope, that means that I should also have hope for the Congo. I should also have hope for a better Congo. I should also work for the reconstruction, justice, and peace in the Congo. So that led to me becoming an activist. But there is also a lesson that I learned here, being here in America, and that's from Martin Luther King. He says this, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. As Whitney presented earlier, us buying cell phones here, feel the war there. So willing or not, or knowingly or unknowingly, we're having an impact in this world. So do we choose to have a positive impact or a negative impact? I do have a cell phone. I actually have 2 cell phones. And I also have an iPhone, an Apple product. But what I used to do with my Apple product is to fight for justice. Because this video is going on YouTube. And I'm breaking the silence. I'm breaking the silence about the war. I'm breaking the silence about what's happening in the Congo. And what I want to tell you today is no action is insignificant. I was working in my corner. Some other people were working in their corner. And today, we are assisting to a raise of the Congolese woman. A rise of the Congolese women. They, like we said, we saw on the pictures, they walked in the streets of Eastern Congo, claiming freedom and justice, just like we saw on the video of women of Liberia. And that gets me really, really, really excited, knowing that we're not working in vain. You breaking the silence, her breaking the silence, is definitely having an impact. And we can go on and talk about it all day, but I just wanted to tell you, share with you that Congo Week is going on. So I'll pass down these papers so you can go on the website to see what other people are doing around the globe to raise awareness, to help the Congolese, to bring justice to the Congolese. And that's on Congo Week. And if you want to get more information, educate yourself about the conflict, educate your family, your friends, your neighbors,